Have you ever noticed that some of the world's most creative, successful, and unique people are left-handed? From artists and musicians to scientists and entrepreneurs, left-handed people make up only about 10% of the world's population. Yet they continue to fascinate psychologists and researchers. But what makes left-handed people different? Is their brain really wired differently? And does being left-handed affect personality, creativity, or intelligence? Let's find out. Imagine growing up in a world designed almost entirely for the opposite hand. Scissors, desks, notebooks, computer mice, kitchen tools, even simple things like opening doors can be slightly more challenging for a left-handed person. Because of this, many left-handed people develop adaptability from an early age. They learn to adjust, improvise, and solve problems in creative ways. Over time, this can strengthen their ability to think differently when facing challenges. One of the most fascinating things about left-handed people is their brain structure. For most right-handed people, language and logical thinking are mainly controlled by the left side of the brain. But in left-handed individuals, brain activity is often distributed more evenly between both hemispheres. This increased interaction between the two sides of the brain may help explain why many left-handed people excel in creative fields such as art, music, design, and innovation. They often have a natural ability to connect ideas that others might not see. Research has also suggested that left-handed people may be better at divergent thinking. Divergent thinking is the ability to generate multiple solutions to a problem instead of focusing on just one answer. In simple terms, they tend to think outside the box. While not every left-handed person is a genius, studies have found a higher representation of left-handed individuals among highly creative professionals. This doesn't mean left-handedness causes creativity, but it may contribute to a way of thinking that encourages originality. Another interesting trait is resilience. Since left-handed people constantly interact with tools and environments designed for right-handed users, they often become more patient and resourceful. When something doesn't work, they find another way. This habit of adaptation can create a mindset that is flexible and persistent. And in life, flexibility is often a major advantage. Many people believe left-handed individuals are more emotional or intuitive. While the science isn't completely settled, some studies suggest that left-handers may process emotions differently due to the way their brains are organized. They may be more sensitive to subtle emotional cues and more open to unconventional ideas. This can make them highly empathetic and imaginative. Interestingly, left-handed people are also overrepresented in certain competitive sports. In sports like tennis, boxing, cricket, and baseball, opponents are usually trained against right-handed competitors. A left-handed athlete can therefore present unusual angles and movements that are harder to predict. This element of surprise often gives them a competitive edge. However, being left-handed isn't always an advantage. Some studies have found that left-handed people may face slightly higher rates of certain learning difficulties or developmental challenges. But it's important to remember that left-handedness itself is not a problem. It is simply a natural variation in human biology. And for most left-handed individuals, it has little to no negative impact on their success or happiness. Perhaps the most important thing to understand is this: being left-handed doesn't determine your destiny. It doesn't automatically make you smarter, more creative, or more successful, but it does provide a unique perspective on the world. And sometimes, seeing the world differently is exactly what leads to innovation, creativity, and extraordinary achievements. So the next time you meet someone who writes with their left hand, remember, they belong to a small group that has spent their entire lives adapting to a world built for the majority. And that experience may have shaped them in ways that are surprisingly powerful. Because sometimes, being different isn't a disadvantage. It's a strength. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And tell us in the comments, are you left-handed or right-handed? And what unique traits have you noticed about yourself? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.